Well, hello, NSA Colorado, and anybody else that's tuning in to this video. I'm so excited today to just be talking about and more fully rolling out this new member benefit that we have. It's a RISE event. It's a facilitated event for the people in our chapter that have a little bit more experience, let's just say, and they want to take their business to the next level. And so, as that great benefit, I was asked, and this was offered to me by Sylvie Di Giusto, and she is right on the screen. Beautiful Sylvie, if you don't already know her. She's Sylvie CSP, by the way, and she is very well known at NSA National. And I don't know if you know her, but I just want you to know you want to know her. She's amazing. And so, Sylvie, I just want to first, before we get into anything, I just want to tell you how absolutely so grateful I am for all the support you've given me as the new president, but also your offer to do this because it's a big deal. And I know our members are going to embrace it. So just wanted to say thank you right up front before we get started.
Well, thank you very much. I'm so excited to do this with you this year. I love NSA Colorado. It is my favorite chapter in the US, but don't tell New York City that, or tell NSA Central Florida that, because I make them believe the same. But I had the pleasure to be with you a few years ago, and I still treasure the memories and the many, many, many friends that I have in your chapter. And that is one of the reasons that I'm so honored and thrilled to do this for you.
Oh my gosh, whoever is watching this, if you think you qualify, if you want to apply, just apply, just put your hat in the ring, because I'm telling you, you're going to love it. So let's tell them a little bit more about this new member benefit and this RISE experience that we're going to be putting on in Florida in December. So let's talk about that. So, what is the application process like? Because I'm saying, like, everybody apply, like, what are the requirements for people to apply to this? And then also, who is it that decides? Is there a committee or something?
Let me first explain why we do an application process, because I assume that many of you have tried to be part of a mastermind group, and myself too in the past. And what I always found a bit of a challenge is that when mastermind groups find each other, we have a tendency as speakers to surround ourselves with the similars. I always say, as an example, if I would make a mastermind group, I would probably have a mastermind group with Heather, with another version of Heather, of me, and then with Heather or whoever, right? And if you look closely to the people you surround yourself with, then you will notice you would probably do the same. And that's why it's extremely valuable if somebody else from the outside who don't know anything about your personalities, who don't know anything about any politics, why you have been put together or whatsoever, takes a neutral look on the applications, focuses on the expertise everybody has, on the business level that everybody has, and puts them together and that is the uncomfortable part, but we all know the comfort zone is a very, very dangerous place to be. In a constellation, they probably would have never come together. And so this is why years ago, when I had the pleasure of serving as the president of NSA New York City, we established that application process for that mastermind and outsourced the choice of participants. And I was lucky to be part of that first retreat too, as a participant. And I'm telling you, as much as I love those people today, back then when I saw the list, I thought, this is going to be bad. And it was the best thing ever, because all of those participants stretched me in a way that my like-minded friends and colleagues probably wouldn't do, because either they have similar ideas or they love me so much that they say, yeah, go ahead, it's amazing.
And I think about this because even just a couple of experiences I've had with you, like the very first time you brought me in and I was at dinner at a table and I was just like, oh my gosh, number one, these people were like, it's been speaking for 20, 25 years or something. And I'm just like, okay, who am I? What's happening here? But it was cool to be there and sitting next to someone who was just amazing. And like you said, stretching your mind and then doing it again, just, at the last influence and being around a group of people you would not ever think to be with. But again, you do go, wow, that's a great connection. I would have never thought this or that. And so opening the mind and being more inclusive, I think, is critical. And I love, you already have that about you, but this retreat, this RISE retreat really does do that. It increases kind of our inclusive nature of our chapter. I love it.
Mm-hmm. And so about the application process itself, who should apply? I tell you who shouldn't apply. It's at the very, very, very beginning of your speaking career. and you think this is a retreat where we have a magic wand and you come to Florida and afterwards your business will explode. That's not the right place for you to be. We are looking for professional speakers who have a proven track record of a successful business. This can be either a CSP certification, this can be either a CPIE, a Hall of Fame speaker, or we just know from the outside perspective that this person is killing it right now in the industry. And that sometimes doesn't require a CSP title, as you know, but that requires also somebody like me looking at those applications, doing my homework, researching them, looking if they're really out there. Because I'm not sure if you have noticed, but some speakers have the tendency to position themselves way more successful than they actually are. But those who are in our industry know exactly who is killing it right now. And those are the people we want to bring together. I'm going to vet all those applications and take the very difficult decisions from the chapter, including yourself as the fabulous president that you are, to make the choices, which means that at the end, I'm going to call 7 or 8 people you're looking for with the great news that they are in. But I will probably also have to call a dozen or so and tell them, unfortunately, you are not in. And just as a heads up, that has nothing to do with you as a person. I'm sure that everybody who applies is a fantastic speaker, a fantastic human being, but this is not the criteria of me choosing participants. I'm looking into a very diverse group of people who can stretch each other in terms of business ideas and experiences, just have 1 or 2 things in common. One is a successful business already as a keynoter, speaker, trainer. So somebody who really brings the spoken word on the stage. And second is just a lovely human being. We all want to live together in a house for 3 or 4 days.
I love that. Actually, and you brought up something that I think is important for those who are like, who is this Sylvie person? Because there are a lot of people who will know you, but there's still probably people who don't. They're newer to an NSA, but might not be new speakers. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about you, just like a little bit about your background. What is it that I know that, but let them know what kind of some of the qualifications are for you.
So I was 20 years long in corporations around the world, usually in human resources, leadership development. And I was always involved when people got hired or fired. And I was so fascinated by the idea that sometimes we hired people in organizations who said all the right things, behaved exactly the way we wanted them to behave, and looked even the way we wanted them to look, right? And then years later, we had to fire them because of a total lack of performance. So already back then, I started to study the area of perception. Why do we perceive specific people in a certain way? And why are we often wrong? Or how can I use it for myself as a professional to an advantage to be perceived in the way, for example, customers would like to perceive me? And so nowadays I speak about first and lasting impressions in sales, in customer experience, and in leadership, and help professionals understand what the first impression says about them and how it impacts the way they perceive themselves, but also others perceive them. My NSA journey started 7 years ago. I became a member of NSA. I'm a certified speaking professional, and I'm a dedicated volunteer. I have been part of 7 influences so far and have yet to attend one because I was always somewhere back, in the background, helping out and volunteering. I served as the president of New York City. I had the pleasure to serve there. I'm now located in NSA Central Florida, because what every person in Colorado will understand, 10 New York City winter were 9 too many for this girl.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you are there, but also, well, I mean, again, volunteering to help us. That's something I want to bring up is that we are not paying Sylvie for any of this. This is just like her doing it because she loves doing this work. So just a heads up to you, this is not what that's about at all. And love, love, love the work you're doing in the world. And thank you so much for adding that to us and helping us with this and our new chapter benefit, this benefit for our members. I'm just super excited about. Okay, you already talked about what it kind of makes it different from like mastermind and retreat a little bit. But I do want to talk about some of the logistics around that. So, what for the people who'd be applying? They're like, I'm going to be in a house with like some people I don't know. What exactly does that look like?
So I tell you again how it doesn't look like. If we would go into a hotel, for example, rent a conference room, come together, even if we have dinner together, everybody will at one point head out, go there to their rooms, and it is very much like a regular event we all very often are part of, right? And since I'm not doing this for the first time, I have volunteered to do this several times for the New York City chapter in the past. I found every time we locked ourselves away, really locked ourselves away, worked 3 or 4 days on our business and in an environment that also allows us to live together, the real magic happened, not just during the day, also in the evening when we cooked together, when we dined together, when we sat at the pool together, when we went on the boat together. And that was just such an amazing add-on, a side effect that wasn't planned, but that we realized over the years is so, so valuable. And so for you, that means you can escape cold December in Colorado. Although according to many of your members, it's never cold in Colorado. You can escape cold Colorado, come down on probably the Wednesday evening if you wish, or the Thursday very early in the morning. We have a house that we already used in the past for retreats like this for the chapters, rented where we have separate bedrooms. You don't have to share a bedroom with anybody. We have another bathroom for everybody, but you have probably a shared bathroom with the person next to you. But trust me, I'm going to line you up in a way that this is going to be just fine. We take care of all the food that we need. I'm gonna make sure that you have that you are treated very well there. There is a big pool that you can use. We have a big front yard where we can work outside because it's not as cold in December in Florida as it is in Colorado, and we have a big working table inside. And so we're going to spend there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We will probably end around lunchtime so that you can head back home. There might be some surprises like boating. We might also use the beach. It depends a little bit on who is in the group and how willing are we to go outside and experience a little bit of nature too, and let that.
I love it. I love it. And so you kind of touched on something as we're thinking about costs. So there is a donation to the chapter that you make, and it's part of the application process. And that does, the donation does, by the way, help. It's a new member benefit, but it does help us as far as getting the property. So making sure the house is done, the food is done. So that does help with that. So know that it's a fundraiser where there's whatever's left does go to us, and we need it for all the other events, but just know that is part of the process. So I'm excited for this. I'm telling you, I am. Oh, go ahead, Sylvie.
There are 2 things, actually 3, you need to commit to. The first, if you apply, you need to commit to time. We want you to be there from the beginning to the end. And I totally understand that we all have commitments. And if you have commitments that weekend, then maybe it works out next year. But what we would like to avoid is people, going away, doing a virtual presentation here or there, or having telephone calls. This is going to be intense. It's going to be hard work. We want you to get something out of it, and that requires time. The second thing you need to commit to is be willing to share, be willing to learn, and commit to confidentiality. Here we go, right? Because we are going to go into areas that probably are a little bit painful, because this is, where you really want to work. You don't want to have all those stories where you are super successful, which are amazing to hear, but we want to go into the areas where you need growth, that you would like to improve, and we need to trust each other to do that. So what happens in Florida stays in Florida. And the third is a financial commitment. And with that financial commitment, with that donation, we cover the cost of the house. We cover your basic meals there for those days. And the rest of it goes 100% back to the chapter. And we found this to be a very successful model for the chapters. I've done this before, like in New York City. It's a fundraiser for the chapter. You do something good for the chapter too, but you get a lot out of it.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be applying because someone told me I needed to do that. And so I'm going to do that. But we'll see, and I think the cool thing about it, what I love about it, is that I'm not making the decision.
Yeah. And there are also a lot of past participants who luckily are raving about the experience, who also didn't know what they got into, went through that very scary application process that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, and now are so glad they did. And we will make sure that you all hear and see from them too. I would like to add one more point. Why facilitate it? Not just because of, time management and making sure that you have somebody who controls the conversations and gives each participant the same opportunity to get the most out of it. I also found over the years, we all have one big problem, that we are givers. And I'm not sure how often that you went into events of that sort of kind, and you share and share and share and share, and at the end you return and think, so what about me, right? I didn't get as much. I feel amazing about myself because I shared all my advice, but what about me? And so I'm trying to balance you out in terms of, yes, you must be committed to share, but I'm going to make sure that you also receive. And we aren't always the best receivers, are we?
That's so true. Yeah. As a mother of 4, I can tell you, I'm definitely giving a lot. And sometimes you get to the point you're like, oh gosh, how much more can I give? So I love the fact that it's small, because it can give you the opportunity to bring out all the people, their needs, and the whole focus to get that value. Now you can go, just as a side note, you can go on to the registration page, which we'll make sure we have the link here on the screen. You can go to the registration page and you'll see other video testimonials of people who have gone in the past. So I would definitely say go there if you want to kind of hear from real people who went through it, and hear probably the things they got out of it, and also even some of their fears going into it. Also keep a lookout, because we'll be posting more like live videos or interviews with Sylvie from people who've gone through it. So again, maybe you can ask some questions. We just want to make sure that you get all that you need out of it, as far as just the introduction process and understanding what it is. And then again, hoping that you all apply. Again, the whole thing here is apply. If you think you're at a place where it's not about the platform anymore, it's more about the business and making your pivots and increasing and scaling and whatever else you want to do, this is the place for you. So I want to definitely tell you to go ahead and apply and let Sylvie do her magic.
And if
Sylvie,
you
do
have
you have any parting words?
Always reach out to me. My email address, maybe we put it down there too, is sylvie@sylviedigiusto.com. I'm absolutely happy to jump with you on a call or on a Zoom and discuss any questions you might have, or help you figure out if it's good to apply or not. Please always reach out. I want to thank you for being this brave to offering this as a new member benefit, and for everything you do during your year of service. I am so impressed with the board team that you put together and their help in making those things happen. So thank you to them too. And I'm so honored that you allow me to be part of this year and this member benefit that I know many of you will enjoy.
Yes. So I look to see your application. So the RISE experience in Florida. Okay. Be well, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
Hey, Colorado NSA team. Listen, when I think of Colorado, I think of whitewater rafting. And one of the things I love about a great whitewater rafting trip is you just never know what's going to happen. And that's what I'll tell you about Sylvie's facilitating of a mastermind group, bringing together other professional speakers. You just don't know what's going to happen. My name is Greg Hawks. Last year, I got to join her and 7 other professional speakers and had an amazing time. Had a time of relationship building, business building, spirit building, soul building. It was just spectacular. And so if you're thinking about investing the money, I can assure you this, it will return to you over and over again, strictly in the value of the relationships. And what comes out of relationships with quality people over it's like a big brother weekend where you all stay in the same place. Sylvie works her magic with cards and food and responsibilities. And again, you know how it is. You can go down the same river. You might say to yourself, I see some of these people every month at the NSA meeting. Well, listen, I'm sure you've been on the same river and it's an entirely different trip. That's what happens when you get together out of state and mostly have Sylvie lead this gathering. It's a spiritual, business, emotional, relational gathering that has the potential to transform your life and career. I highly recommend you experience this weekend in Tampa with Sylvie and all the magical things she has planned for you. Listen, it's Class 6 Rapids, baby. It's beyond what you think you're going to experience in any other river. It's a different kind of mastermind and an amazing experience. I hope you go. You're going to love it. You can thank me later. You're welcome.
Hi, it's Rachel D'Alto, and I had the amazing opportunity to be a part of Agility in 2021, and I am so thankful for it. The friendships that I made, the professional relationships that I nurtured, the ideas that were generated, it was an absolutely amazing experience. Sylvie is a master facilitator. I'm sure that doesn't surprise you to hear because it's just in her nature to be generous, but she's so smart and just has an idea of really how does she get the most out of the group, and we were lucky enough to be that group. So I can't say enough about it. I walked away with just amazing ideas, amazing relationships that are becoming some of my closest friends in the industry, if not are already. And I just feel very lucky to have had that opportunity. And I'm so jealous of everyone that is able to do it next. It is an absolutely phenomenal opportunity.
I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into. I wasn't sure if I would enjoy it. I wasn't sure if I would learn. Didn't know how I felt about being in a house full of strangers. I just wasn't sure. And let me take that back. They weren't strangers, but being in a house, with people that weren't my family, and all kind of things went through my mind. Should I not? But I knew one thing. I trusted the organizers. I trusted my chapter president. Trusted Sylvie Di Giusto. So I made the decision to join Agility. And I am absolutely fantastically glad I did. And I think a few things that come to mind. One, you may think, why should you join a mastermind group? And some mastermind groups you may think you meet monthly. Some could be once a year. Some could be a retreat, whatever you wish to call it. But joining with a group of peers in a facilitated discussion, working together, growing together, challenging each other, spending time 2-3 days together, it uplifts you. When you have stuff inside you, you can share with others. People have stuff inside them that they can share with you. So that's one thing. And then I think of what I finally got out of this experience. One, it was just great to not meet new people per se, because many of the people I knew, but great to learn from them and get to know them on a deeper level. Two, the facilitator, Sylvie Di Giusto, amazing facilitator. The care and empathy and craft that went into producing and hosting this event from the smallest detail was absolutely amazing. And I learned experiences and tips to grow my business. You know what I didn't say? My speaking business, because that's a small part of it, but to grow my business. So I am so glad I went, and I'm a successful speaker. I've started 5 companies, sold 3 companies, authored 5 books. I work with the biggest brands on the planet. And we all need help. We all need to uplift and grow. And I'm so glad I went. So going through the process was pretty simple. I applied. I think it was a detailed questionnaire as I can remember. And I waited to see if I'd be accepted or not. Maybe some people weren't accepted. Maybe some people were. I'll never know. It's a confidential process. But I applied, put in the information, and trusting the process, those who are putting it together, is important because they put together people who they thought would gel, not being best buddies, not we're all agreeing, but we can all work together for the common goal of growing our businesses and our personal lives. So I think for me, it was a great experience, just thinking about some other things that I want to say. And I think for you who are watching this video and you're thinking, should you go or should you not? Here's why you shouldn't go. If you're not willing to put in the work, if you don't want to open up and speak, if you don't want to open up and listen, not that you have to agree with everything, but to listen, you should not go to Agility. But if you want to go with a group of amazing rock stars, facilitated by the amazing Sylvie Di Giusto and be in her careful, caring hands, then you definitely should apply for Agility. I'm Ramon Ray, new founder of zoneofgenius.com, and a fellow speaker, and even more than that, just a regular guy business owner. Thanks. And thank you, Sylvie.